Hello, and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and the insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today, I'm very lucky to be joined by Jason of Bickford Senior Living. How's it going, Jason?
It's going great, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really glad to have you on. And Jason, I would love to just start this off and learn a little bit more about your background and a little bit more about Bickford Senior Living.
Sure, I'm happy to do that. My background is in marketing, not unlike what you guys do. And my path through digital marketing agencies and traditional marketing agencies, I might date myself a little bit, but through the 90s and then 2000s. And I really enjoyed what I did as an account manager in the agency world. And I love that because it was about finding solutions. Fast forward to a few years ago, I started to reevaluate how I want to spend my time
Mhm.
and how I want to utilize my skills. And what's become a whole new world for me, but a perfect fit is using my skills in relationship building and strategic marketing, but using it in a way that really helps people. So, what I do is I work as sales and marketing director at Bickford Senior Living. Okay. And Bickford Senior Living is assisted living and memory care. And in my 50s now, and as many of my friends and peers are starting to realize, this is a big issue now in our lives. Our parents are aging, and now we need to take care of them or to help them find the next stage of life. So I began to realize through different things that I had done, and I had taken a course at my church and begun to be an intentional listener and started to just hone those skills, and it became a good fit for this job. The job title is actually family advocate, which really does tell the story of I'm not doing traditional sales. I'm not selling appliances and giving you a great deal on this or that. I'm meeting with families and sitting down and learning about their loved one, learning about the challenges and what's happening. They might or might not have a memory issue. They might or might not be able to take care of every single thing in their house, but helping them find what's next for
Yeah,
their loved one. And it's not easy because none of us got trained on how to do this.
yeah,
So it's really filling my professional and personal tank as far as coming to work every day, doing something that matters.
yeah. Wow, I love that. Yeah, it's so nice when you go into work and do something every day that's rewarding and so like about finding that job that doesn't really feel like a job. And that's what it sounds like it is for you, right?
Yeah, sure. It's definitely got its stressful times and definitely is a sales. It's data driven and we have sales goals, and Bickford does a great job of helping you to achieve those without taking your eye off the reason that
Yeah.
you're doing it. And we have lots of different connections in our company that help us remind each other of our
Mhm.
why do we do this. And so it's a great connected company that really succeeds in helping us to hone in on the human service that
Yeah.
we're providing.
And you guys do something unique in that you emphasize the higher path model. And so, how do you currently communicate this unique approach to potential families? And what marketing channels have been most effective for you? And before you answer that as well, for the people who don't know, an overview of the higher path model would be awesome.
Yeah. So, first of all, there are a lot of great companies out there that provide good care and do a good job with senior living.
Mhm.
And we're not the only ones in town, but all I can tell you is what works for us. So, we began as a family owned company. We're still owned and operated by the Bickford and EB family, where it started with Mrs. Mary Bickford some 40 years ago. And what that started as was a way to care for those with memory challenges. So through the decades, it evolved. And as we've learned more and more about these kinds of challenges, we developed a higher path model. So the higher path would suggest there needs to be a lower path to make it mean something. The lower path is the way we see most seniors end up in terms of a health event. Maybe they have a fall, maybe they have to go to rehab, and then one thing leads to another. Maybe there's a setback in their health or in their mentality, disposition. Maybe they start to experience memory loss, or there's a change in living situation. Diabetes flares up. These health challenges become a downward health spiral unless there's an intervention or unless there is a positive impact on that. So, as opposed to the lower path, we bring what's called the higher path.
Mm.
So, it is a combination of various tools, everything from our digital record keeping to our on site physician care to our on site pharmacy care to our in house therapy and rehabilitation through our partners in that area, all the way through our higher path counsel and caring teams. So everyone gets a full attention, a
Mhm.
full evaluation, and
Mhm.
it's a custom care plan. If I were to say what is the higher path, sure, it's this list of tools that I can name off to you. The outcome focused technology such as the fall prevention and response pendants that our residents wear. But really, the best summary of higher path is personalized care.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a customized care for that individual because even though there are common challenges for senior adults, and we've
Yeah.
seen all of those. And even though I might meet with a family that says, this is what's going on with my loved one. I may have heard the same thing 2 hours earlier,
Mhm.
but to them it's unique. And
Mhm.
that person is unique and it presents in a different way. And it's not the same challenges. So
Yeah.
everything has to be customized there.
Yeah.
So that higher path in a day and age where data really is king and data drives choices and decisions, we like to lead to get back to the other question of how are we communicating that, we like to lead with the data and say that with this personalized approach of higher path, we're seeing success. We're seeing across our 55 locations a
Mhm.
reduction in hospitalizations, a reduction in falls, like a 69%
Wow.
reduction in falls across our locations. Those are things that you can really sink your teeth into and say, hey, that works.
Yeah.
Um, we're reducing the length of time that a resident would need to be in rehab or in our communities and reducing ER visits. So it's the kind of thing also that is good for insurance companies because there's less claims there.
Yes.
So it's a low key revolutionary way to approach it.
Yeah.
And happy to lead with that.
It's really interesting too because Bickford has been around 40 years,
Mhm.
and very recently, I would say in the last maybe 10, 12 years, there was people started realizing like, oh wow, there's a lot of seniors that are going to be needed assisted living care. So there's a lot of people that came to the market. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that wanted to open up their own assisted living, whatever it was, like big players too, but not taking that higher path, not employing that and coming up with these care
Yeah.
plans that are standardized and whatnot. So it's really refreshing to hear that you guys know one, especially across 55 locations, no one resident is the same, right? And
Yeah. And that's really, it sounds almost idealistic, but that's the way it needs to be
yeah,
for it to really play out well with success. And what I love about my job is that I come in and I'm a caregiver, even though I'm really, my job on paper is to bring more residents in and
yeah,
to hit those sales numbers. But my office is not up front away from everyone. I'm right here in the neighborhood of our residents. And across the hall is each person that I know very well by now. They're
yeah,
friends, they're residents who I get to interact with, and we're in this together. They want to know, hey, who's coming in to maybe become a new resident? Are you bringing more people in? And that encouragement, plus just being accountable and connected with our other locations
mhm,
and encouraging each other that way. That's what makes it worthwhile.
yeah. And there's something interesting about the industry that you're in that when you're marketing, a lot of times you're marketing to not like a traditional maybe an e-commerce or a CPG company would market directly, or even a DMO who would market directly to the consumer. A lot of times you guys have to market to adult children that are the decision makers for their parents. What kind of challenges have you guys faced with that? How have you guys overcome some of those challenges? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
That's a really good point. That's exactly who our target audience is. If we had to draw a picture and say, who is our ideal target audience? It is.
Yeah.
It's adult children who are, those are typically the ones that we meet with and determine next steps. So part of our strategy or the model for feeding leads into our system is automated through services that are third-party referral systems who do a great job of referring a potential resident, an adult child of a senior looking for a place. They'll refer them to Bickford and to other places, and it's up to us to make the right move to call them. So
Mhm.
the way we approach that is with a very specific cadence of communication, because we could be just like anyone who has a hot lead. Hey, I'm going to call you all the time every day until I get you. And I'm going to sound desperate and salesy on the telephone. And how about this? Hey, I'll make you a deal. Nobody wants that. Nobody needs it. The person on the other end of the phone that's receiving, they're hearing from a lot of places that say, hey, we're great. Come see us. Take a tour of this place. So the way we do it at Bickford is to have really deep dive training into how to communicate well.
Mhm.
A lot of our family advocates in my position will be coming in with a sales background or some have had a clinical background. But what we need to do is unlearn the way that we used to talk to people and really put it into action that listening, that active listening, that slower pace of talking, that really honing in on reading the notes that came in with that lead, talking about those things, really being deliberate about, hey, we heard that you're looking for a place and that your mom is 80 and your dad is, now he's a diabetic, and I understand that. So have you looked at a lot of places? And so tell me about, and ask leading questions, not go into sales mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the tactics of calling them back, those are the same as we do in any industry, selling widgets or anything. But
Mhm.
it's the way we approach that conversation that I 100% believe that's the way that we come across different in the marketplace, and
Yeah.
that's how we win business, is with that genuine approach.
Yeah. Wow. And that's amazing. If you think about it, you can't use the same sales tactics that you would use. This is a long decision, and it's a very emotional decision. And there's a lot of usually pushback from the residents themselves, the future residents themselves. There's a conversation that has to happen. Hey, I think it's time for you to go here. And then, so there's a lot of that. And so those high pressure sales tactics just don't work. And that's so cool that you guys go into that training and really take all of those decisions and those emotions into account and really take a consultative approach to figure out if you guys are the best, or if even assisted living is the best thing for them.
Yeah, exactly. They might be thinking that it is, and the worst thing that can happen is not that we don't get the sale. That's
Yeah.
not the worst thing, because
Yeah.
we'll get our sales, we'll get our residents. But the worst thing that's going to happen is that they won't be cared for in the right way.
Yeah.
So sometimes after coming to tour our place, they love our place, but the time wasn't right,
Yeah.
or that they decided to do a different thing, and that's their family life. Like,
Yeah.
we're not selling them a dishwasher. Okay. It's not, it's very personal.
Yeah.
So that balance has helped me to grow personally and professionally as a communicator.
Mhm.
And then that kind of, that asking the question and sitting back and listening. And then also, after doing it a few times, you start to have some ideas about how to direct them. Have you thought about this? So tell me about what happens when your mother or father does this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's when I go home at night, I feel like I have connected with a lot of people in a meaningful way. And
Yeah.
that's just something that makes you gratified. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. As you speak, I hear a lot of heart, and just like you care for what you do. And I know that's probably reflection of you and your entire company. And this has been so great, Jason. Where can people learn more about you, and where can people learn more about Bickford Senior Living?
Sure. So you can learn more about me on LinkedIn, Jason Acquisto, that is Acquisto. And I like to be active on LinkedIn, and I like to post about Bickford on there. But Bickford Senior Living, that's B as in boy, BICKFORD, seniorliving.com. And our company does a good job of putting a lot of meaningful content there that will be, it's not just a corporate template,
Yeah.
but you'll find what you're looking for. And you'll even find down to the menus at each of our locations for that place. So if you wanted to come eat with your mom or dad, you could just check the website, see what they're having that day.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Well, Jason, thank you so much for being on. This is awesome.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's great to connect. Thank you for this opportunity, and I really appreciate being here.
Thank you.